Namaste, yogis. Welcome to Bhakti Yoga. In case you have not heard, we are reopened, and you're more than welcome to join us here in the studio. We'll be live streaming and having some small classes here in the room. So hopefully we'll be seeing some of you in person soon. Check out the website. There's protocol for registration for classes and all that good stuff. I'm going to start out on our backs today. I'm going to ask you to grab a blanket or something like it, towel. And some people like a big fat roll, and some people like something a little skinnier. So if you know you've got a tight upper back, maybe go a little bit longer with whatever you're working with and make more of what my teacher likes to call the taquito type of roll. Or if you've got a pretty open upper back, you could do something a little more burrito size. So get what you need in place and get your roll somewhere back behind you on the mat, because we're going to use it for a little shoulder opening. So I'm going to invite you to just lie back and try and get the bottom tips of the shoulder blades kind of, you might even take your shoulder blades up onto the roll, but we want to get the bottom tips of the shoulder blades towards the head, and the shoulder blades kind of moving off the roll so the shoulder heads can drop down towards the earth. And you want to try and probably let the shoulder heads float a little bit. I don't know if anyone's open enough to get their shoulders all the way down and still keep the roll just right underneath the shoulder blades. So you can feel it resting on the lower ribs, but you'll feel the little bottom tips of the shoulder blades kind of moving into your back ribs and working to open up the top of the chest. You can go wide through the arms or make more of a cactus shape. And I like to take a moment with the feet flat and a couple deep breaths just to feel the spine draping over the blanket. Just notice the placement of the back of the head. Sometimes you might need a little more support there. You might need to bring your roll down, right, so it's a little bit less, especially if your chin's going way up. Right, you want to try and tuck the chin in a little bit and rest that place where your skull and your spine meet, right near the back of the head on the earth. So you can feel a little lengthening through the back of the neck, a nice softening through the front. And then once you've got the head and shoulders in a good spot, give yourself a nice deep breath all the way down into the belly, and as you exhale, you might press the heels into the earth and pick the hips up about an inch and squeezing the belly to the back, moving all the breath out. We get a little more length through the low back, so it's going to be almost like the tailbone starting to lift up towards the backs of the knees a bit. And then you can set the sitting bones down and work to keep the length of the lower back so the sacrum's nice and heavy on the earth. You want to feel like your sacrum's lengthening out a little towards the heels. Then we'll stretch the legs out one at a time. Use the legs like you're standing on them. So once they get out there, push out through the big toe, through the inner heel. Pull back maybe through the little toes a bit and spread out from big toe to little toe. See if you can get a feeling of the whole bottom of the foot lighting up as if you were standing on it. Feeling all four corners in the earth. Now they're just kind of pressing into the sky, pressing into the air. And if you have met a lot of congestion in your lower back, you can always come back to bending the knees or a little pick up of the hips, a little length of the tail. See if you can adjust that way. And again, if it's too much, your roll is probably too big. So you want to find a comfortable place to rest here. And we're going to continue to breathe well, keeping the legs awake, feet awake. A little bit of hug in through the outer shins. You can work to soften the insides of the thighs towards the earth. You want to get a palpable feeling of the back of the pelvis softening and widening a little bit, so the tailbone can lengthen to the heels just naturally when you move all the breath out, and get a little heavier on the earth. And then a big breath in all the way down into the belly. So let the belly fill with breath and let it move to the top of the chest, and then all the way out again. Try and use the muscular strength in the belly to really press the breath out and feel a little of this pull down here at the bottom of the rib cage where it feels like your lower ribs are hugging in and towards each other. And back to another full deep breath. Down into the belly. Let's see if you can direct the breath into the back, right there into that roll, so you start to feel the lower back ribs fill with breath and expand sideways. And that breath goes up through the sides to the top of the chest and all the way out again. And another deep inhale from the belly, direct it into the back, up the sides, and try and let your collarbones at the very top of the chest feel like they're moving away from the midline. And the very top of the sternum, maybe even moving towards the chin a little bit. And then all the breath out. Belly to the back and a little bit of the bottom front rib cage pulling down and towards the navel. And keep it alive. Give it another breath. So a little activity through the legs to keep your lower back happy and long, but full deep breaths. Trying to get the breath to move into the belly, the sides, and up through the back to the top of the chest. Deep inner listening. Give it another full breath here. And as you exhale, let's bring the hands back behind the head to interlace. So we want to interlace the hands and place the thumbs somewhere at the base of the skull. You can give your neck a little more support. Squeeze your belly to your back and press your head back into your hands just lightly as you exhale. You might get a little more length back there. And then on the in-breath, go again for that big belly, sides of the waist to top chest, but see if you can feel from the bottom tips of the shoulders kind of expand all the way out to the elbows as you inhale. And we're going to pull the belly to the back, exhaling. Feel your belly pull down so much you get that contraction in the lower rib cage, upper abs, and then look up to see your toes. Lifting the head like it's in a little hammock. And then keeping the back of the neck long, front of the neck soft. Inhale back. All the way to full. And exhale. Squeeze the belly to the back and wait. Wait till you feel that contraction from the belly pulling you up. It's the exhale doing the moving. So let the head stay heavy. Back in your hands. Inhale fully. All the way out from the bottom tips of your shoulder blades to your elbow tips. And exhaling. Squeeze the breath out and wait until it pulls you up. Keeping the tailbone heavy and long on the earth, reaching for the heels. Let's give it a few more in and out. Draping yourself back over the blanket roll on the inhales. Inviting that breath all the way to the top of the chest. Squeezing the belly to the back. Get all the breath out. So try to hang on to a little of this action right here. Keep a little tone through the belly as you go back slowly. See if you can direct a little more breath and awareness into the top chest and get a little fuller up there. And last couple. So even as you coil up, you're widening out the front chest. And even as you lay back, opening up the front chest, you keep a little tone in the belly, a little contraction there in the upper abs. Let's do one more round. Exhale. And inhale, soften back. Release the hands for a moment. Just let them stretch out wide to the side. I like to press the backs of the hands down and then feel, once again, kind of arms wide V. Try and connect the bottom tips of the shoulder blades all the way out to the pinky fingers now. Breathe in, reach all the way out to those fingers, getting the breath full to the top chest, nice and wide, and exhaling. Sacrum long, front ribs in. You can spin your palms to face each other. Maybe even lift the thumbs up off the earth an inch or two. Just notice where those shoulders are on the back. Do they feel even? Can you draw the upper arms down into the sockets a little more and feel the bottom tips of the shoulder blades rubbing up against the blanket evenly? And then maybe go for a little bit more arms overhead as you breathe in. Keep the external rotation happening. And breathe out. Belly to back. Find that contraction. Try to lengthen the low back and work the upper abs. And then a couple more breath here. So you might be somewhere way out wide, right? It's a continuum from this kind of wide angle to hands in line with the shoulders, more or less. And we'll run into some congestion or a little something somewhere, so we want to find our intelligent edge. Work to keep the back of the chest wide and the shoulder blades deep on it, right, to open the front body. That's our inhale all the way to the top, and the exhale. Trying to get a little of that length into the lower back and upper abs on, so we get a little more opening in the very top chest on the inhale. And last breath here, exhale. One more deep inhale. You can reach the arms straight up. And then let's exhale, reach them forward and coil up. And here you can bring the forearms down. Just press yourself into the earth a little bit. Remove your blanket roll. Take it off to the side. And then just gently swingling yourself around so you're out on all fours. We'll move right into a little bit of cat's breath. So placing your pointer fingers dead ahead. We want to get a little external rotation through the upper arms here, eye the elbow, biceps, reaching forward and the lats turning on as we reach the crown. And breathe in. We're going to go all the way to empty and try and let the breath lead the way. So start exhaling, belly to the back. Feel how it moves the spine, tailbone to the earth. Chin in, crown down. And then inhaling, can you lengthen dead ahead through the crown and straight back through the tail. Let that breath open your front body, widening out through the front and leading you to a nice openness with extension and deepening into that flexion on the exhale. So the breath is the mover all the way to full. Little pause at the top, all the way to empty. Little pause at the bottom. Feel the breath turn around and come back in. And all the way out. Just a couple more. Simple breaths. Letting the breath initiate the movement and extend you. Making length and space and exhaling. Contract. Suck it all into the center and into the navel. And one last time, we'll expand out. So big inhale here. We're going to exhale. Pull the elbows in and take the heart forward. So we're going to start to keep the booty to the sky and lower down chaturanga. So try to get your chest wide and your chin towards the earth, and then on the inhale, we lift the shoulder heads and drop the hips. Find a little baby cobra. On this first one, let's lower down slowly and set up our cobra. Make sure your hands kind of land right under your elbows and press the tops of the feet to the mat. Little toes down so you get a little brightening up, inner thighs lifting. And try and feel the inner thighs higher than the outer thighs. And then squeeze your belly to your back, lengthening tailbone to the heels. You want to feel the front of the pelvis in the earth, so your pubic bone. And then both of those frontal hip points, right, evenly pressing down. And the belly hugging up and into the body, and then lifting from the top of the chest, from your shoulders where they meet the sockets, rising. So the chin stays in, the back of the neck stays long, and the inhale lifts your chest as high as it wants to go. And we exhale, slowly lower down. So let's give it one more of those. Inhale, as high as it feels good. And then exhale, squeeze your belly to your back. So you're pressing into a little plank on the knees. And you're going to start to round, 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 dropping the head and tail all the way back hips to heels into a little child's pose. And then bringing it forward, let's inhale, reach through the chest. Try and line things up in your table. Exhale, it's knees and then the chest and the chin. Lowering down, shoulder heads are floating up. We inhale, cobra. And we exhale back, pulling the belly to the back and rounding, rounding, rounding. All the way back into child's pose. So a few more of those, breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale, cobra. And exhale back. Through the knees. All the way back into child's pose. And finding the breath flow, letting the breath lead you forward and up. Heart moves through the upper arms. We exhale. Chest lowers first. Chin is second. Shoulder heads are floating up. And then looping down the back for a nice rise. Keep the tailbone long to the heels. Exhale. Rounding all the way back. Last round. In. Out. All the way to completion. In. And out. Let's pull it back through the knees and curl the toes under and head back into downward facing dog. So feel free to widen your feet. Maybe make it a little shorter dog pose than you normally do on your first one. Check out the hands, pointer fingers dead ahead. Try and grip every finger pad into the earth and open up through the upper arms. Feel those upper arms spread wide away from the midline. And wrap the triceps to the earth, biceps to the sky. Push through the hands, inner hand pushing hard. And outer upper arm moving vigorously away from the ears. We'll get the lats to turn on and the upper traps off. So find that muscle deep in the armpit, inner upper arm fired up all the way back to the sides of the waist to your hips. Lifting the heels helps, bending the knees a lot of times helps you to get length through the low back. So you're going to feel like you can lift your sitting bones way up and feel your lower back getting more spacious. And then getting weight out of the hands, back into the legs, the very tops of the thighs where they meet the pelvis. Pull back. Calves and heels start to ground down. And keep breathing. Top chest wide. And exhaling, belly to the back. Bottom sternum. Kind of pulling now to the tops of the thighs, tops of the pelvis. And then coming back to that full breath in, widening the chest. And all the breath out. So let's give it a last breath here, maybe working the feet a little closer. Let's take the right leg up and back, big inhale. And pull back through that left thigh. Try and squeeze the right outer leg in enough where you can feel the back of the pelvis widen. Your tailbone get a little more space to lengthen back to that right heel. One more big inhale from the right heel all the way out through the crown. And then we're going to exhale. Knee to the nose. Shoulders over the wrist, foot up in between the hands. Get nice and long here, all the way from the back heel out to the top of the head. We'll exhale the back knee down. Just give it a breath here. Lengthen out from that left knee to the top chest. Open wide. And use your blocks if you need to. I'm going to pull back into the half splits. So try and keep the left leg vertical. Maybe the right heel can press the earth a little bit. Maybe a little baby bend in that right knee. It's helpful to me. And then we pull the right hip back, sink it to the earth. Try and feel the hips side by side. And we work to lengthen all the way out of the low back. So the back of the pelvis is kind of lifting back, and the front of the pelvis tilting forward. So we are working with hip flexion. I'm trying to minimize spinal flexion. Give it another breath here, widening out. Feel into the back of that leg and invite it to soften. One more deep breath in. And empty. And a couple on the breath. Let's rock forward on the inhale. Open it up through the top chest. And exhale, pull it back. And again, breathing in. And breathing out. Take it forward on the inhale, and we're going to reach the arms all the way up. Let's exhale. Make a little cactus shape here. Bring the elbows down to about the height of the shoulders, squeezing the belly to the back. Want to feel the lower back get longer. So right heel in the earth, right hip pulling back a little bit and sinking down. I also got to squeeze the right outer leg into the middle a bit. Want to feel the left leg on. Outer left leg squeezing the midline till the inner thigh of that left leg softens. Get a little more room through the back of the pelvis to drop the tail of the earth. And lift up through the front. So maybe try and feel where your pelvis meets your thigh. Trying to lift up and tailbone lengthen down. Let's give it a last breath here. Nice big wide chest. Squeeze belly to back. And let's go for that wide V. All the way from the bottom tips of the shoulder blades to pinky fingers. Exhale. Bottom sternum to navel, tailbone long. Try and get the arms maybe in line with your shoulders. Deep breath in. If you've got open shoulders, you might be able to look up and touch palms. And then we're going to exhale, hands down. Step back into downward facing dog. Let's mix it up. Inhale to plank. Exhale. Squeeze your knees in. Put them down on the earth. And start to move forward with the chest. And the chin. And then we're going to inhale, cobra. And exhale back. Down dog. Let's take the left leg up and back on a fresh breath. And keep pulling that right thigh bone back. Feel the placement of the pelvis here in relationship to the thigh bones. Can we get things leveled out in the shoulders and in the hips? Squeezing left outer leg in will help to soften the left inner thigh, and then pulling the right thigh straight back. Great way to just keep it integrated. One more deep inhale. Exhale, step the foot up in between the hands. Lengthen out. And back knee down. Stay long. Let the in-breath extend your spine through the front. Exhale, pull it back through the hips. Squeeze your belly to your back. And then work to extend out a little bit more. Left heel into the ground. Little baby bend on the left knee. Left hip pulling back in space and sinking. Maybe even a little hug in towards the middle. Definitely squeeze the right outer thigh in for stability. And see where you can get a little bit longer and more spacious. And fold in. All right. Couple on the breath. Inhaling forward, low lunge. Exhaling back. Ardha Hanumanasana. Inhaling forward. And exhaling backward. One more time. Rock it forward, inhaling the arms up. So all the way up and overhead. And then squeeze front to back. Tailbone lengthens and the bottom sternum knits in a little bit. We want to direct the breath into the back, into the lower rib area, lifting up all the way to top chest. We're going to balance in those hips. Left hip can pull back, sink down, and squeeze in a little. Right inner thigh bright to the sky. And the very top of the right thigh, maybe deep into your belly, and a nice stretch. Then wide V on the inhale. Bottom tips of shoulders to pinky fingers. Exhale, squeeze those lower ribs in, lengthen lower back down, and reach up a little higher. Right? You might still be wide. Right? Find your intelligent edge. Maybe if you're open, you can look up and touch palms without the shoulders moving into your ears. Exhaling, hands down. Step it back into downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale, pull the knees in. Set them down, chest and chin. Slowly move forward and down. Inhaling cobra. And exhaling back. Down dog. Couple breaths. Continue to widen out top chest, upper back. Feel the back of the spine moving in a little bit. right in between those shoulder blades towards the heart. Always lift the heels, bend the knees as much as you need to extend through the low back. Make space. Let's lift through the heels. Soften the knees and get all the breath out. Give yourself a big step. Lightly float to the top of the mat. Lengthen out halfway, inhaling. Empty it out. As you exhale, press through the feet to rise to stand. And right down the center line. See if you can feel that kind of planking as we stand tall. Inner thighs soften, tailbone lengthens. Get all the breath out. We want to find all four corners of the feet on the earth. Spin the palms out, wide chest, front and back, unified. Up and down. Kind of lengthening away from each other. Crown up, tail down. Can you feel the balance right and left? And then we give it a big inhale. And exhale. You can swan dive it out or take it down the center line. Just get those inner thighs softening back, all the breath moving out. Chin in, crown down. Take your inhale. Hands wherever they need to be to extend you out and give yourself a little bit of activation in the upper back. Empty it. And press to rise. Right down the center. And riding the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Little pause. And a lengthening. Can you feel the breath moving from the pelvic floor up the front of the spine, all the way out through the crown? And exhale. Back body releasing. All the way to standing. Activating from feet to fingertips. Feeling that length. As the crown comes up and the tail goes down. All the breath out. And another round. Big inhale. Exhale. Breathe it in. And breathe it out. Nice and tall. Down the center line. Getting taller. And once again, breathing in. Let's do a classic Surya Namaskara. Exhale, fold. Lengthen forward. You can step back, float if you're ready. Plank through Chaturanga. Or if you're floating back, it's just right into Chat. Belly hugs in. Roll over those toes. Upward facing dog if it's available. Lower all the way to the earth and stick with Cobra. And then we'll pull it back. Down dog. A couple deep breaths. And back to the top of the mat as you're ready. Lift the heels high. Make that an inhale. Squeeze all the breath out and go all the way to empty. You got to hold the breath out. Sink in. And on no breath, you float. Nice and light. Then you take the inhale. Standing. Exhale, deepen in. Press to rise. And release. And coming back in on a fresh breath, arms up. Exhale, fold deep. So stay with me on this one. We're going to take a little variation. We're going to inhale. Exhale, step into plank. Give yourself a big inhale. Bring your feet together. Open up through the chest, really draw all those shoulders deep down the back. Hug the front ribs up and in. See if you can feel like the sides of the waist are helping to lift up your lower back. And then tailbone lengthening to the heels. And we're going to bring the right foot to the middle. We're to take a little twist here. So try not to affect the shoulders with your twist. Try and drop that right hip to the earth. Draw that right shoulder down the back. Draw the left shoulder down the back, even deeper. Extend straight out through the crown. And squeeze the belly to the back. You might even separate your heels a little bit. So you can try and lengthen tailbone back. And crown forward with that rotation in your spine. Breathing in and breathing out. We'll take it to center. Stay in your plank. Inhale. Get longer. Find that axial extension. Exhale, second side. So notice if your butt's going way back. It's a great way to avoid the stretch. Open the chest. Squeeze the belly in. Lengthen. Right. Tailbone to the heels. Crown dead ahead. And heart reaching evenly between the arms. So you got to work those shoulders. Warm them up. Breathe well. And then we'll spin it back into center. Normal plank. Big inhale. Lower down. You choose. Up dog or cobra. Inhale. And then back. Down dog. Hold the breath out. And a couple breaths to get stable. So stay curious in dog pose. As you're ready, we'll bring it back to the top of the mat. Heels high. Knees bend deep. Step it or float it. On, no breath. And then lengthen, inhaling. Exhale, fold. Press to rise, all the way to stand. And let's keep the arms up. Squeeze the front ribs in. Keep reaching up strong through those arms. If you need to keep the arms straight and strong, you can take it a little bit wider. But front ribs in, tailbone long, and shoulder blades working into the back. Collarbone spreading wide in the front. Urdhva Hastasana. And Tadasana. Give it another big inhale. And then feeling those feet into the earth, weight in the heels. Pull back through those sitting bones and soften the inner thighs. I always have to squeeze the outer legs in and out to feel the inner thighs soften down. And as many breaths as you need to sit back into a nice deep chair. So inhaling, shoulder blades are working into the upper back. Exhaling, bottom sternum into the navel, sitting bones back and down. So if your knees are going way forward, try and pull the bottoms of the shins back a little bit. Give it another big inhale. And we're going to exhale. Sweep the hands back behind your back and kind of resting the belly on the thighs. We're going to interlace the hands, or if you need to, you can just float them back. Lift up through the shoulder heads, inhaling. Give it another exhale. Squeeze front and back together. So your belly is just hovering above the thighs. And then we're going to touch the earth, inhale, chair. And we're going to exhale, fold back down into the half chair. You can interlace the other way if you want. Hold the breath out, and then back in. Chair pose. Once again. And that little half chair with a heart opening. And then inhale, chair. Exhale. Rise all the way to stand. You can pull the hands to the heart. Roots those heels. We're going to inhale back down into Utkatasana chair. Exhale. Squeeze it in all the way to the right leg. Let's pick up the left foot. Swing it over the right. Take the left arm under. Right arm over for the eagle. So do get the weight in the right foot, especially the inner right foot. Pull the right thigh back and sink it down. Maybe squeeze that left outer leg in, as well as hug the shins, thighs, and whatever you can find. And then work to sit back like your chair. Lift up through the elbows. Draw the upper arms back. Put elbows and forearms away a little bit. So you feel that spreading across the upper back, that deepening into the belly. Maybe you can sit a little lower. Give it another breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. We're going to fly away. Inhale, arms up and leg forward. And exhale. Set it down. Touch the earth, chair pose. And over to the other side, all the way into the left. Right leg comes up and over. Squeeze. Left thigh pulling straight back. And opposite arm on top. Keep pulling that left thigh straight back, squeezing right outer leg in. We're going to sit those hips back and down evenly, and then a little rising up through the elbows. Widening of the upper back, but also trying to widen those collarbones. It's not one or the other, but both. Deep breathing. When you're ready, let it go. Breathe in and breathe out. Touch the earth. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold over the thighs. Lengthen out, step back to plank. Feet together, breathe in. And we're going to breathe out, right side plank. Shoulder right up on top of your wrist if you can. Move that right bicep forward. Feel that spreading, wide. Front body, belly to the back. Nice long low back. Another breath or two here. You're more than welcome to extend the left arm overhead. Try and get the right side and the left side working evenly. So you find the planking. And second side as you're ready. Lengthen. And roll it over. Couple breaths. Modify if you need by making the side plank with a little kickstand. When you're ready, chaturanga to your vinyasa. Up dog or cobra. And we're back. Downward facing dog. Couple breaths. All right. Let's give the right leg a nice big lift. Step it right up in between the hands. Hop the back foot a little bit. We're headed to Virabhadrasana 1, a little wider than heel to heel. Right leg pulls straight back, left inner arch lifts, and left outer thigh squeezes in. Let's inhale, arms out by the ears. Exhale, belly to the back, tailbone starting to reach towards the earth. And then we're rising. Keep pulling right thigh straight back. Lifting left inner arch. Squeezing left outer thigh in. It's going to help that left outer hip move a little up and forward. Give it a breath here. We're going to bring attention into the hips. Trying to create a little bit of work from the feet to the pelvis. Can you drop the right thigh to a right angle and pull the right hip back and hug the midline a little. And then lift out of that left inner arch. Work to really spin the inside of that left leg back to the wall behind, making space through the back of the pelvis. Let's drop the elbows down to shoulder height. Exhale. Wide V, inhale. And then bottoms turn them to navel. Can you get your hands a little closer? Maybe last breath here. Touch palms, look up. Keep the chest wide. Exhale, come down. Flow it through, or just step back to dog pose. Rising and releasing. Alrighty, left leg. All the way up into Virabhadrasana 1. A little wider than heel to heel. Left hip pulling back. Dropping down. Trying to get the left hip to a right angle. Weight into the right foot, especially that right heel. Inner heel and big toe mound grounded. Get the inner arch on. Right outer leg squeezing the middle. See how long you can get. Belly to the back. Arms out by the ears. Exhale. Tailbone starts to reach back towards that right heel and down a little bit. So when your torso comes up, your tailbone drops straight down. You can continue to pull left thigh back. Sink it to the earth. Lift out of the right inner arch. Squeeze right outer thigh. Let the breath help to open you up from the inside out. Making a little room to the back of the pelvis to drop tailbone to the earth. Try to lift the front of the pelvis up off that left thigh bone. And as you're ready, let's exhale. Cactus arms. Palms can face each other. Inhale, nice wide V. Bottom tips of the shoulder blades to pinky fingers. Exhale. Belly to the back. Reaching. And then lengthening. Can you feel the breath from the pelvic floor all the way up the front of the spine like a river to the crown or fingertips. Exhale down. Chaturanga. Flowing on the breath. Up dog or cobra. And back to down dog. Give it a couple breath here. All right. from downward facing dog. Right leg goes up. Then step right up in between the hands. Take a full breath to Virabhadrasana 1. Root your feet. Rise on up. We're going to exhale, pull the hands to the heart, and open to second warrior. So feel the feet, maybe hop them a little bit narrower, heel to back heel. Belly and heart face the side. Try and get that right knee back to a right angle with externally rotating the thigh bone. Left leg's neutral. It's kind of the hip and toes going the same direction. About 45 degrees or 30 degrees out there to the side. Dropping in. A little weight to the right inner foot, big toe and inner heel, but the outer leg. Outer knee to outer hip pulling back. Right outer hip trying to drop down towards the earth and roll that right sitting bone under. Feel the inner thigh stretch. A little pull back through the left fingers, left side waist. Left inner leg alive. Maybe even squeeze the top of the left outer thigh in a little bit to bring the pelvis a little more upright. Lift the front of the pelvis, lengthen the back down. And see if you can get a little more spacious. Give it another breath. We're going to keep the legs and pull back through that right hip, lengthen out through the right side body. Great place to use a block. Today, let's take it to the inside of the right foot, as low as you need it. Try and press the hand down so you can feel the side plank when we lift the left arm up. So tension back into your feet. Right outer hip hugging under. Left inner thigh bright. And here as you press down through the right hand, draw that right shoulder down the back. Lift all the way up through those left fingers. And work to roll the belly and the heart up. Then we'll turn the left palm forward and start to reach it overhead. Reach, 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 reach. All the way from the left heel to left fingers. Keep pulling right hip back. See if you could pull that right sitting bone back and scoop it under to the left. Give it another breath or two. Working front and back body evenly together to roll belly and heart a little higher. Give it another breath here. We're going to come down on the exhale, hands down and back knee down. Let's inhale the arms up. Coming back into Anjayanasana. And exhale, hands down. Plank through the vinyasa or just step to dog pose and breathe. Over to the other side. In your own breath rhythm. Downward dog. Left leg up. Right up in between the hands. Ground it down and then rise it. Exhaling, second warrior. Heel to heel or heel to back arch. Do what you can do here to feel the right leg in neutral. The left leg doing the work. Pull it back through the left outer knee to outer hip. Keep the left inner foot grounded. Feel the right thigh pulling straight back, making space for that left outer hip. And sitting bone to kind of hug under towards the right. That'll wake up the pelvic floor and help you to find that lift from the pelvis all the way to the crown. Dropping down. Creating space in the front of the pelvis, deep through the inner thigh. And then we'll start our reach. Keep the legs, lengthen the left side. Start with forearm to thigh. Stay there if that's your edge. Otherwise, block to the inner left foot, as low or as high as you need it, to make a nice strong connection. Push the arm and the leg into each other. Feel the left hip hugging back, under, and organizing the pelvis. Have one lengthening of that right heel. We can really lengthen up from left hand to right fingers. And find the side planking, feeling through that left arm, widening the chest. And breathing belly into the back. Tailbone to the back heel. Can you get a little longer? Can you open it up a little bit more towards the sky? Gently rotating entire rib cage. Turn the right palm forward. And go for that reach. All the way out of the right heel. A few deep breaths. Big inhale. Hands down on the exhale. Back knee down. Inhale, arms up. And exhale. Chaturanga. Do your vinyasa. Forward and down. And we'll land back in dog pose. Couple deep breaths. As you're ready, let's lift the heels nice and high. Soften the knees nice and deep. Step or float, feet to hands. Lengthen out halfway. Deepen in all the way. And then press down to rise all the way up. All right. We'll take it right down the center. Empty it out. So if you are able to get up into handstand for a few breaths, that'd be awesome. If you're not going upside down today, you can take a balance here in tree pose. So choice is, right, tree pose, feeling the midline, keeping it simple. Right, you could do a little dancing Ardha Chandrasana if that's in your wheelhouse. Right, in between sides, I'm just going really fast. I'm going to do a handstand. So, tree into Ardha Chandrasana, or find the wall, or play around in the center of the room if that's available, and work to bring yourself up. The beautiful thing about getting upside down is the shoulders become the support system here, and you can really feel the shoulder blades go down. Press your shoulder blades in, and then squeeze your belly to your back. Try and suck those front ribs in, and maybe keep one heel on the wall and one leg straight up. Tailbone going up to that leg that's off the wall. And you can feel breath move into the back now. Breathe into those kidneys and widen to the top of the chest. And exhale, tailbone up to the heel. You can play with maybe some little kicks, like a little swimming. Right. Take the other leg up for a couple breaths. When you're ready, come down for a rest. So ideally, we're just trying to get straight up and down like Urdhva Hastasana, that place where we bring our arms over our head, standing in Tadasana. Just a couple breaths to fold in half here. So as you do fold deep, you can bring the hands down to the earth or wherever they help you. Stay nice and stable. And let's come out halfway reaching. We'll take the left hand to the outer right knee. Give ourselves a little twist, just a mini one, over the right leg. So you can pull yourself a little to the right. Bend in. And release. Float into the center and come back out halfway. Back under your fingertips wherever you need to open your chest. Little walk to the left. Right hand to the outer left shin. And a little twist from the navel. Hugging yourself over the right leg. Drop in. Just a little mini twist. So when you're even on both sides, how about one more handstand? Right? If you're in tree pose, hope you're having fun. It's a nice long balance. If you can get your fingertips all the way to the wall, go for it. Or maybe very, very close, so that when you kick up, you can actually bring the shoulder blades onto the wall and then push them off. Try and bring your lower 12th rib to the wall. And then the tailbone up towards the heels. You might feel that lower piece of your back on the wall around the kidney area, but then everything else is lengthening up to the heels. And shoulders pushing into the back, belly in and tailbone up. Keep pressing the shoulders in, opening the heart. Keep moving the kidney band to the wall. And that's the action. It's going to eventually get us off the wall a little bit. See if you can hover in your handstand and then take it to the earth. When you're ready, let it go. Shake it out a little bit. And this time, if you want to bring both hands back behind the calves, move deep into the center. Just move your shoulders up away from your ears and maybe a little into the upper back. Let the head go. And then we'll release the hands. Kind of step back into downward facing dog. Give it a breath. And move it forward, knees to the earth. This time keeping your hips over top the knees. Let's walk the hands forward and open up the chest a little wider. We're going to keep the belly hugging in towards the back a bit. Bottom sternum to navel. Widening out the upper back. Bottom tips of the shoulder blades into the back ribs. Collarbone spreading. Inner hands grounding. Triceps to the earth, biceps to the sky. Can you soften the back of the heart towards the front of the heart without collapsing the belly? Give it another couple breaths. Feel into what's available. If you need to rest your head on a block or something to get it feeling heavy and relaxed, do that. Give it a last breath. Look up to see your thumbs. Hug the elbows in and bring them to the earth. We're going to go into a low plank. Shoulders pulling way down the back. Belly up and in, tailbone long. And then let's get those legs straight. Inner thighs up. Belly up. Sides of the waist up, rather. So you can feel the front body supporting the back. And then a little bit of opening through the chest. Back body into the front. Let's bring the feet to the middle. Once again, twist to the right. Feel the low plank. Squeeze the belly to the back. Lift that top heel up if you need to make space in there. Continue to work those shoulders like crazy. Down the back, chest forward and out. Gazing and breathing, nice and peaceful. And then second side. Into center. Left heel in the middle. Look at it for a sec, but then extend out through the head, crown of the head. Gaze down benevolently. Lengthening out from the center of the chest. Lengthening back from the tailbone to the heels. Last breath or two. And then into center. Hold center for a moment. And then we'll lower down. Sphinx pose. Give it a breath. All right. Let's work to pull the upper arms back, soften the shoulder blades down. See if you can feel the bottom tips of the shoulder blades moving in. Chest nice and wide. Inner thighs to the sky. And tailbone finds its way back towards the heels, grounding the front of the pelvis. So again, we feel the pubic bone in both sides of the pelvis. The anterior, superior iliac crest, or iliac spine resting on the earth. So give it another moment. And we'll take it into a little quad opener. So bend at the right knee. And you can move your left hand a little to the right if you need to for stability. Take the right hand back, or to Bikasana. See if you can bring that right leg into like a Virasana shape, heel to the outer right hip. If you can circle that right upper arm back, move the shoulder blade down and in. Left arm pulls back and down. And try and keep the left little pinky toe in the ground. Left inner thigh to the sky. Maybe even right inner thigh reaching back to the wall behind. Give it another breath. And then we'll release. Second side as you're ready. Spinning fingers in line with the toes if it's available. And then left upper arm back. Shoulder blade down. And bottom tip of the shoulder blade forward and in. Right upper arm pulls back. Shoulder blade down and also in. Really just trying to isolate the work into the front of the left leg. Right pinky toe in the earth, right inner thigh to the sky. Left inner thigh lengthening back. And when you're feeling evenly cared for, go ahead and lower down. Take a moment, forehead to the earth. If you have a block nearby, you might choose to use it. I'm going to just take a moment here to waggle out the hips, rest the forehead. And then we'll take our arms kind of back into that wide V situation, forehead to the earth. So press down through the pinky fingers enough that you can pull back through the upper arms. Draw your shoulder blades way down the back. Really feel them pressing into your upper back. Lengthen back through the toes. Pinky toes in the earth, front of the pelvis grounded, tailbone lengthening back. So you really feel the front pelvis anchored. All the breath out. And then inhaling, let's lift those arms up. If it feels good, take the head along with. Exhale. Squeeze your belly to your back, lengthen, tailbone to heel. See if you can breathe in a little higher. Breathe out. Keep the length in the low back. Big inhale up through the chest, belly to the back. Now can you lift up through the thighs? Breathe in. Breathe out. Can you get those inner thighs a little higher? One last breath. And then we're going to lower down. All the way, breath out. Rest. So, your next option is to possibly use the block. If you have really tight shoulders, you can use the wide V. Otherwise, resting, block out in front where you'll have access. Start wide V, shoulder blades down the back. Exact same situation as we just did. Hold the breath out and rising up, little baby cobra. All right, so see if your arms come a little closer. Right, if they can get close enough without coming to your ears, shoulders down the back. These cork blocks are really heavy. I'm going to try and lift up through the arms and the legs. Breathe. Spin the biceps to the sky, triceps down. If you want to bend the elbows and push the block up, you're more than welcome. Inner thighs to the sky. You could also bend the knees, but that's a lot. Give it another breath. Straighten it out when you're ready. Breathe. And release. Everything off to the side for a sec. Give it a little waggle. And then we'll press it back, hands back under the elbows. Curl the toes under, big inhale. Squeeze the belly to the back, exhaling, plank. Breathe in and plank. Exhale. Downward facing dog. All right, from down dog, let's give our right leg a lift. Let's step it right up in between the hands. So we're going to stay with the back heel up. Get nice and long. You can bend your left knee as much as you need. Trying to bring the right hip to a right angle. Crescent pose. Big inhale. All right, so shoulders down the back, right hip. Squeezing into the middle, sinking down. And we're going to try and let's bring the hands to the hips for a moment. Feel the front of the pelvis lifting up off the thigh, tailbone dropping to the earth. Try and hang on to that. Feel the breath move into the back. Take your arms forward, shoulder heads back and down. See if your shoulders can inform your hips to get a little more square. And then as you're ready, front body to back body, front ribs in, tailbone long, arms coming up. You might need your arms a little forward to your ears. Might be able to get them straight up and down. Again, if you need to take them wide, take them wide. Honor your body. Keep it nice and low. Then we're going to work to straighten out the back leg as much as it'll go. So, left inner thigh to the sky, left outer leg hugging the middle. Tailbone to the earth, belly to the back. Maybe you can get your palms to come together and lengthen all the way up here. Can you squeeze the front ribs in, tailbone to the earth, start to move those arms back further. Can you get your upper arms moving into the upper back, belly into the front, and lift up and lean back a little into those shoulder blades. Squeezing, belly in, pulling right hip back and down, left inner thigh to the sky, without losing the control in the belly. Maybe open the chest, one more big inhale, exhale. Chaturanga, or just step back into dog. All the breath out. Rise and release. We'll take it over to the second side on the breath. Left leg going up, right up in between the hands. Take your time, bending that right knee as much as you need to find balance. Left hip back and low. Pull back into the left hip. Squeeze right outer thigh. Hands onto the hips. Front of the pelvis lifting up. Back of the pelvis lengthening down. Try and hang on to that work. So get the arms forward. Shoulder heads back. Front ribs in. And then find that place in the continuum where you can start to keep the belly strong. Get a little more heart opening right up into the back of the upper back. So keep breathing, straightening back leg as far as it'll go. Sinking left hip, hugging it in. Reaching right inner thigh to the sky. Maybe touch palms. Belly to back, front ribs in, tailbone down. And then shoulder blades going back into the back. Trying to lift your chest to the sky. Couple more breath here. Inhaling, opening, exhaling, stabilizing. One more deep breath. And release. 3 vinyasa. All right. Landing in dog pose. You can bring yourself down onto the knees to swing the legs through, or jump and sit. Move on to the back. So we're setting up for Urdhva Dhanurasana. Let's actually move to bridge first. You can always support your bridge pose if you need. I like to get the heels in, close enough to touch. Big toes in enough to soften the inner thighs. Widen the back of the pelvis. Full inhale. All the breath out. Feel your tailbone lengthen and sacrum lengthening out on the earth. Lifting up a little through the tail to the backs of the knees. You can inhale, lift the hips. One vertebra at a time, or as one big unit, come up onto the tops of the shoulders. Let's squeeze the belly to the back. Inhale your arms straight up to the sky once again. Move your upper arms down. Right, so shoulder blades into the earth, or shoulder heads into the earth rather. Maybe wriggle and walk them down a little further. You might even bend your elbows and push them down here. Shoulder blades into the upper back. If you'd like to interlace the hands back behind, you're more than welcome. Just feel the feet. Stay here. Or breathing, you can reset the hands under the shoulders, elbows to the sky. Breathing in. Lengthen out through the belly, stabilize. Come on to the crown of the head for your next breath in. Pause here if you'd like. And then inhale. Straighten the arms and the legs. Hug those outer shins in. Get the big toes and inner heels to the earth. Widen out the upper arms. And breathe. Strong, straight arms. Legs as strong and straight as they'd like to go today. And releasing. Coming all the way down for a rest. Give it another breath. Before you run out of steam, we're going back up. Stick with bridge if you need it. In. Out, coming up through the hips. Pause. Reset the hands. And inhale. Exhale. Breathe in to come up. You can always play with walking the feet in a little closer. Heels in the air. Work those outer legs in. Inner thighs down. Tailbone long. Chest wide. Breath strong. And release. And rest. Just a breath. And then last round. Coming up on your own breath rhythm. After 3 to 5 breaths, Make your way down. Ah. Let your arms go wide. Let your feet go as wide as the mat. Knees can knock in. Let's take the arms up. And just embrace yourself. Try and get your shoulder blades up off the earth. Open the upper back. And then second side. Arms up, shoulder blades up, opposite arm on top. And releasing. Hands down by the hips. Keep the left foot on the earth. Feet and hips relatively in line with each other. Draw the right knee in. Get the hands back behind the back of the right thigh. Extend your right leg up to the sky. Push a little through that right heel. And drop the right hip away from your body. So feel that right hip descending towards whatever's in front of you. Trying to feel the back of the pelvis level on the earth. Maybe even a little natural curve back into the low back. If you have a strap nearby, you can use it. If you have easy hamstrings, without, bring your lower back flat to the mat and bring your spine into a flexion. We want to see if we can keep the spine neutral. And just go for more hip flexion. And then hug the knee into the chest when you're ready. Let it go. Maybe even take the right knee a little to the right. Get a little deeper flexion there. And then we'll set the right foot down. Get the hands behind the back of the left leg. Push the left thigh into the hands. Extend the left heel up to the sky and continue to feel where the left thigh plugs into the pelvis. And deep in the socket is where you're dropping from. Down, 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 down. Right and left hip evenly placed on the earth as you can find and spacious through the back of the pelvis. Lower back will maybe get a little of its natural curve to return. And from there, you can find your way into deeper hip flexion. Just try not to bring it into the spine. When your spine goes flat into the mat, most likely you're in a mild spinal flexion. When you're ready to release, we'll hug the left knee in. You can take it straight down the middle so the thigh is parallel to your spine, and then just a little to the left. Sometimes we get a little more opening there. We'll set it down. Place both hands down by the hips. Squeeze the belly to the back. Lengthen your sacrum out on the earth. Inhale fully. Exhale, hug the knees in, and extend the heels up. So you can keep it simple with your hands by your hips. If you want it to be stronger, your arms come up overhead. But you want to keep your front ribs in and your lower back neutral. Maybe your thumbs will float off the ground. So we inhale fully. Lengthen up through the heels and the balls of the feet. And we're going to exhale. Right leg till it lowers and hovers just above the earth. Breathe in. Try and feel the left thigh moving away. And then exhale up. Inhale, both legs up. Exhale, left leg down. Stay for the inhale. And then exhale, return. Stay on the breath. In. Lengthening up and out. Dropping down, inhale. Holding and exhale up. So we're only moving on the exhales. Breathe in. Breathe out, left leg. Breathe in, hovering. And breathe out. One more to each side. Neutral inhale. Move on the exhale. Hold. Breathing in. Back to starting, breathing out. And one last time. inhale. And exhale to hug the knees in. Give them a squeeze. You can draw your nose to your knees. Let's rock ourselves up. Find a cross-legged seat. If you have really easy hips, you can find double pigeon. But that's up to you. Try and cross mid-shin. You can get that front leg out as far as you need. Try and make more of a square shape here. You can get the inner thighs softening, back of the pelvis widening, and feel free to unfold or unroll your blanket and give yourself a little platform to sit on. We're going to get nice and tall, shoulder heads back and down, crown uplifted. Let's feel the length of the spine now, both sitting bones in the earth. Front and back working together. We'll take the left hand over to the right knee, right hand back behind. Continue to extend tall and twist yourself around to the side. Just a few deep breaths, extending and rotating. You can use the arms, pulling upper arms back, shoulder blades move into the back, and that helps bring you around. And then you use those internal deep core muscles to hold you. You lengthen back up. Use the hands to help you get in a little deeper. You're trying to hold it with those deep internal muscles. One or two more breaths here. So full inhale. We're going to exhale. Kind of unwind so you're on a diagonal. Your chest is kind of right over that knee. Let's take the arms wide. We'll start to fold out here, keeping a little of the twist. So hands wherever they're helpful. You'll feel as you bend over the right knee, you get a deeper stretch through the left side body. Work to ground the left hip down. Lengthen out through the left side. And you can just crawl this back around to center. Finding a little length back in the middle. And another fold. Deepening into the forward bend. Lengthen out into fingertips as you're ready. And press yourself up. Change the cross of the legs. And we'll move right over to the other side. So get tall. Feel that axial extension, tail to the earth, crown to the sky, right hand onto the left knee. And moving around to the left. Last breath or two here. Full inhale and then unwind to the diagonal. Just let the hands walk out. Let your spine move down over the left knee. Continue to root the right hip to the earth. And reach the heart forward and out. Big deep breath to open the right side body. And walking into center when you're ready. Folding down the middle. And rising up and sitting tall. You can finish with one last straight-legged forward bend. Paschimottanasana. Just a couple breaths. Use your strap or lie on your back with your feet in the sky. Right? You can even strap it there. Just a couple breaths. Make your way onto your back when you're ready. If you need any last finishing moves to feel complete, then listen to your inner wisdom. Do what you need to do so that when you settle into Shavasana, you are able to get really still and quiet and feel very relaxed on the earth. No bodily distractions. So support yourself with any props you need. Make any last little adjustments or go back through any last moves on the earth so you can settle. And letting everything go now. Letting go of the breath. Letting go of the need to work or try. Nothing to accomplish at all. You may keep a soft focus around the energetic heart. It's as if you were heart center was an organ of perception. And from that area there's a deep inner listening, inner feeling, inner tasting. Seeing inward. So if you need, you can remain in Shavasana as long as you'd like. Otherwise, as you're ready, you can start to bring a little life back into the body on the breath. Some gentle familiar movement back out at the edges. I always draw the feet in first and then sweep the arms overhead, breathing in, and you can pick a side to roll off to. Linger there for a moment if you'd like, and then gently press up to sit. So we'll take a moment to feel ourselves sitting tall once again, noticing any changes in the body-mind. Let's bring the hands to the heart. Take a moment of gratitude. You can nod your chin towards your chest and Acknowledge the presence and the wisdom that resides within the heart. A little bow to the one breath and one life that moves through us all. I'm grateful for all the gifts and blessings that we have in our life. Let's ask that all the benefits we receive, may they help to benefit all beings, everywhere. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for your practice. Something I think I forgot to mention is class time's moving